Now that we all want to watch Kiki's Delivery Service. Turn that off. Yeah, you know, things are always broken around here. It's whatever. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of those camera arms that mounts to the wall. And then I can, like, adjust it and move it around. And I can position the camera exactly where I want it. Or even, like, turn it to, like, look at something else. And it'll be steady. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this tripod. But it's whatever. It's okay to be broken. A broken cookie still tastes just as good. It does. Broken brownie still tastes good. Luckily, this game doesn't have to do too much reading. Apparently, I'm having trouble talking today. Alright, let me just make sure. Options. Okay, good. We got closed captioning on. Apparently, we have no sound. There. Okay. Begin the game. Also, how are you doing, guys? Theo and Myth. Please make sure audio is on. It is. I literally just checked. Be right
Hi
back.
there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike.
Yep.
You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's
Just looking around.
Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game.
If this ends up being
As
sad,
each
you're
game
gonna
is
fight.
loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed.
It might be, I don't know.
This first one was made in November 2008.
I played this years ago, and I don't remember it at all. I just remember that I played it, and it was very short. Whoa! What?
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Halo? Whisper machine status active.
you can click to fire the gun.
Can I? None of the buttons are doing it. Oh, there it is. Can't go that way.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shield activation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
It's totally normal. Oh no, now I'm in a maze?
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
You want me to kill myself?
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Hey, Spooky. Basically, this guy's narrating about his friend that used to develop games, and we're playing through the game files, and it's like trying to learn about his friend, because apparently his friend just gave up making video games. You haven't missed much so far. Oh, there's the maze he skipped us past.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
November 2008. Hey. I can't move. I can look around. The past was behind her? What?
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
What? Oh my god. The past was behind her. You're gonna have to keep looking where I'm going? Maybe this game is gonna be a bit of a fever dream. But the future could not be seen.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete.
Why does the future
Coda
keep
is trying
changing?
to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it? What?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick.
Weird.
Okay, next one.
I wonder if we're going to see this guy unraveling in his game design. You are now entering. What?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Nonsense in nearly every
Oftentimes,
direction.
Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm getting slower.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press the use key on your gamepad, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
It is the same guy that made Stanley. He actually began the game narrating and said, "Hi, I'm such and such that made Stanley Parable." Very much broke the fourth wall. Whoa. I can't even read all this. A normal game where you have to scream into a mic every 15 seconds to keep playing.
A room that's warm.
It's ideas.
And nice, and filled with little ideas.
Game filled with
for
chairs,
games.
except one chair is floating. Sharks are trying to eat you. Simultaneously, you are trying to eat
Coda
the
would
sharks.
often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that
Stand
he
on
knew
an X
he was
staring at a bear.
actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You play as a loud, bodiless sound walking around confusing people. You run a shop inside your own body, selling your organs strategically to make the most money before you die. What are these ideas? Ready, set, fish? I don't know, the one about being eaten by sharks while trying to eat them, I'd play that. I'd play that for sure. This guy had some wild ideas for games. I'm starting to get the feeling that as we progress through,
Well, this is new for Coda.
The
it's an actual
designs,
puzzle.
we're
Go
gonna
ahead and
see the
if
guy
you can
unraveling.
solve it.
so Raft, yeah, basically. Because you can eat the shark meat, yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so I pulled a lever. Now what? Ah.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
They had to throw puzzles at me.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press the use key on your gamepad, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Whoa. Holy crap.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
For someone who hates puzzle games, you seem to play a lot of them. It's not by design. I don't choose to play them. You are now exiting.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
This guy's speaking some deep existential shit. The great and lovely descent. Oh my.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The
You
tools
don't choose to
available
play
to
him,
the
who does?
creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making.
I just
You
pick
might
games.
consider
I don't know they
paying
have puzzles
attention
in
to
them.
the architecture in Coda's games to notice
No.
how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
I can't get to that. What the heck? What, am I in a prison now? It's only mildly unsettling.
This prison,
What?
funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that. This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
So Coda was a troll.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
I like the soundtrack. What? You there, did you come from up above? What was up
Here,
there?
Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the buttons on your gamepad to respond.
Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. Again, perfect. Now please, tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It's the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you, there is nothing I want more. What the hell? Another one? Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? No, I've been right here this entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the blank space in the middle. What happens if I solve it? Not sure, but if you have any suspicion, what you find won't be worth what it takes to get there. You'll have another chance to solve it soon. This guy was out of his mind.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
What the heck? Now we're outside?
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Okay, maybe it's starting to get trippy. Maybe I was wrong. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Nice room. Not. What vibe are you getting? What vibe?
So
not
first
what
off,
time.
I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
No
In
point to this.
retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
You'd play as a class if you were in school for game design. I can see that. Whoa, holy shit. Can you guys hear me? Hello. There's so many notes. Reasonable.
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Oh, thank you.
Either way, to
Everyone
me, they
read
convey a
this.
sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
I'm king of the world. Oh my god. That's the best one.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Say, fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
What's up, Toffee? What the shit is this cavern? I like that one. Boring. I can assure you guaranteed that there is an acorn somewhere here in this place and the sailors are looking for it. This guy was out of his fucking mind. To catch you up, Toffee, the narrator is showing us his friends' games, and like the further we get into them, the more that his friends seem to be unwinding. Hey guys, just looking for someone to talk with. Those caverns, yeah. I refuse to believe. Really? We're going through all these deep thoughts that he has to himself, and we get butt-ass butt. I need to go to the frickin' bathroom. Recognize me, please? Don't listen to that guy. No, I think he's unraveling. A free t-shirt. Need other side. Door, why you so? Door, how open? Open sesame. Makes game includes door, cannot open door. Thanks. Someday I will meet the person who made this. There's so many. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. New room! Do you hear the chimes? They keep going, don't they? Scared of writing something, don't want to feel judged. I'm not gonna read all of these. A game where you leave notes and suddenly everyone's a poet. I failed to write anything here. This would be a cool concept. Cabbage shapes our nation. What is that painting? Hey, don't talk about me that way. I think this is not going anywhere. I need someone to talk to. This is a note? Don't listen to the other notes. I'm not safe. This is all so cryptic. Whoever made this has issues, clearly. We will all die someday. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. Cabbage shapes our nation? Why is that one there again? Let's just move on. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. There must be a reason for it, though. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game. Did you? Can I jump down?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Shit, how do you solve it? This doesn't make sense, the second door won't open. Developer answers, please.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
What is this audio? How do you leave notes? What the fuck? You're telling me this guy's just chilling? Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. This was not made by a man who is well. Porn stars die too.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Said he was unwinding. Unwinding, unraveling, whatever word you want to use. The man is losing it.
See, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
What? What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? Put a giant hole in the ground. What? Okay, now what about along the wall of the room? I'd really like a washing machine. So it's just not listening to me. I think we should light up this room a bit. I'm thinking a 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. Damn it. And a table. You need to it's got one right there. Tables were invented in 1935.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
The fuck? It's like going to the world's worst IKEA.
He throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. Good. Go over to the photo frame and turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Now go to the left side sofa, move it over a level. Like, what? Finally touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. What? That's not how that works.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work.
Just mean unwinding.
And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
This kid's is called a phone booth. They don't exist anymore. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you after you escaped from the prison. You're me? It is very spooky. So you were trapped in this prison too? What?
It's a conversation.
Yep, I was in the furniture
and
maze.
So this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and
That's
to
where I'm
get
at
some
right
good
now.
advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
What's it like to escape? Actually, I'm already forgetting what being in the prison was like. Really? How long has it been since you got out? Only a few minutes, but somehow it's already fuzzy, kind of like it never happened. But this is the worst, most desperate thing I've ever been through. How could you possibly forget it? You don't ever forget it, you just stop identifying with it? What, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? Yes, I did get a call, that's how I escaped. What did they tell you? What did you have to do to get out? They just talked to me for a while. What? That freed you? How does that work? It will make sense. This is creepy. Okay, I can talk. Let's just talk for a bit. Will you be here? I will be here for as long as you need.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Very cryptic.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Well, this is a nice place. Well, my goodness, I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Tonight I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. And lousy homes make home
The
loners.
quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Ha! Something tells me you're going to be fun to do this job with. Well, this place isn't going to clean itself as far as I know. I'll finish up here. In the meantime, could you please clear the table? I like this music. Much nicer, that's the table I want to see. Now would you please run to the bedroom and make the bed? I'm getting very, Life is Strange vibes from that music. Make the bed. While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the rug a bit? A game where I get to clean a house? I love this. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? Well, I don't enjoy it so much as I need it. While I'm working, I feel a kind of calm that rests in the pit of my ribcage. My soul just can't be soothed any other way, it seems. Which I guess is about all that matters. Oh, that and a tidy couch. Would you straighten the pillows on the sofa out here? Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop that up as long as you're over there? I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. No. No, it was stupid. Sorry. Never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Power Wash Simulator? I do actually want to play. It's on my wish list. Last I checked, the tub needed a cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best you can? No need to be perfect. We're all just human. Real talk. Are there still books scattered on the floor of the bedroom? If so, would you put them back on the shelf? You didn't tell me to do that when I was in here earlier? Perfect. Now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off the table? Wait.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Do these chores ever end? Darling, let me tell you something. Whatever work you do, you have absolutely got to own it. Otherwise, it owns you. So why don't we be with the task at hand and leave the future chores to future you? Present you wants to smooth out the rug in the bedroom, believe it or
I know
not.
that Coda
Trust
really
me on
liked
this one.
game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Looks like the tub has gotten rather dirty. Would you mind tidying it up a bit? We're stuck in a time loop. Earlier, when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you. Heh. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. But there's a bit of truth in it, no? Anyway. So. Housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books, would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Oh goodness, those pillows over on the couch are a real mess.
I'm glad he made this.
Would you go over and straighten them up a bit?
Some peace.
Question. Do you enjoy this?
Of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
And there's the lamppost.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Items you love at members-only prices.
This one gets a bit goofy.
Oh no. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself? Compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful. I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly. Effortlessly. I know how to read. This is easy. It is so easy. It is so easy.
About halfway through the game,
being perfect is
perspective
effortless.
shifts.
The Eye of Sauron? There's people screaming. What is going on? This is the
And
key.
you
How do I
play
achieve
as
it with
the
no
teacher.
effort?
And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort? Well, let me tell you right now, if it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. If you are torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward?
I am Confucian.
There is no truth. There is no path. So I'm guessing based on this madness right now that Coda, after his few months of happiness where he made the cleaning game, he lost his shit again. Do what is easiest. Do what is simplest. Feel what is true. Wait. Holy shit, you guys! Something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out! It's coming for you. It's going to destroy you.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most
Perfection.
relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Now what?
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Whoa. Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. I didn't sign up for this. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Good, stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Where's the bathroom? What are you doing? You're deflecting. You're not saying what's actually on your mind. Stop dancing around it and have a conversation with this person. Do it again. I like you. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. I'll bet you've learned to lean into the pain. You're messing it all up again. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. There's the lamppost again. What? You just made it one big prison. Oh. Okay, yes, now this is working.
The game ends with
this is what it was
eerie
like.
premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Holy crap. Mobius Trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. No! Click to begin the game. What's going on? What can we do? I can't see anything! Please, tell me how to solve all this. Oh, there's the fucking door. What? Help, I'm blind.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Fucking lamp. I am bursting with creative energy. No, that isn't truthful.
That's cheating!
Oh, we really are in a time loop. The only way to stop it is to speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these. Yes, that's it. That's the truth. It's draining me.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off,
Keep going,
he's
keep
never
talking.
been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
I haven't been honest. You're doing it. It's working. I'm alone. We're going to be okay.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? This makes me think of a game called Beyond Eyes, which I'm probably going to stream at some point, where you play as a little girl who's blind, and you can only kind of see like about this much at a time. When I try to create, I feel empty. Oh no. What's happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it, to know why it stopped.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Deal. Perfect. Come along, I'll show it to you.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Hey, I recognize this. Oh, wonderful. Can you tell me how to do it? First, you have to open the door. Okay, now what? Now you have to close the first door. Alright, what's next? Now just press the switch here. Ha! That was so simple.
You can't
I
talk
can't believe I never
yourself
solved it
out
before
of
this.
loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
When I try to create, I feel empty. There's no machine here. Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Sure, making games is easy. Ah, that feels wonderful. Why did the walls just crumble? Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. It is easy, it never stops being easy. Yes, that's wonderful. Keep going.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Just never stop creating and you'll never feel bad. Perfect. That feels
This
fantastic.
is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
I'm going to vomit. Patience, you have to trust me. I promise this will work. Please continue. Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it 100% of the time. Yes. More. Keep going.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
I believe this unquestioningly. I am a vessel for certainty. Incredible. That's it. I'm free. I'm free. This distorted crying voice in the background makes me think of the ending of Last Day of June.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
The machine. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be brutal. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Do we know where the poisonous games have come from?
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped. You stopped feeding us? How could you possibly go back? How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? What the hell? I've been so alone. Apologize for leaving. No? Nothing? Alright then, I will apologize to the people on your behalf. My friends! I have a troubling revelation. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy everything that the machine has created. Or follow me, we will destroy the machine. Oh, jeez. Let's destroy the machine. What? Hello?
Remember, you can click to fire the gun.
Oh. This is trippy.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for it? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Just destroying everything, huh?
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
This is unsettling.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look. And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Creepy background sounds.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Whoa.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press the use key on your gamepad, and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
This is very, very creepy.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Is this game an existential crisis? That's what I'm saying.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
1 5 1 6 1 7. Nope, damn it. Like I said, I think his friend was losing his mind. And we're seeing that more and more the further into his game development we go.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time. And as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is.
Jeez.
It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy.
Hey.
It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
It's really amazing the way people use art to express pain and confusion.
Where did I screw up?
Games are a form of art. That's what I'm saying. I think this whole thing is just seeing how his friend was falling apart. Oh, dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Wow.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
I wonder at times whether you think I am making these games for you. He kept... In the story, he kept pushing Coda to make more games and to just keep making games.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
You've so infected my personal space that it's possible I did begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere hidden between games. If there was an answer, a meaning, would it make you any happier? Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe? Would you stop changing my games, stop adding lampposts to them? Wait, what? He said Coda was putting those in there. Would you simply let them be what they are?
And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing.
When I'm around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than me. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Which is fine. You're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing that you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I am talking about, don't say anything. So the narrator is the one having the crisis. Yeah, I think so.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Holy crap. Whoa. Stop it, get some help. Seriously. Have tea and a nap and find a therapist. I like the twist that he was adding the lampposts, not Coda. But yeah.
More.
He's
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
so he's an unreliable narrator. Because he's the one having the crisis, right? Can't go that way?
Move this man!
Solution.
Really does have
I
a
guess
nice
if
soundtrack.
someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
This is getting weird.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now?
This feels very lonely.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Yeah, this all feels very, very lonely. Am I supposed to walk through these? Does it matter? I wonder if this is supposed to be like a game that the narrator made, and it's contrasting it with all the games that Coda made. I have no idea. Oh, you're gonna miss the ending. I think we're very close to it. But have fun with your mother.
Let me ask the audience.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yes, we should ask the audience. Oh, is this the beam from the beginning? That's what it looks like. Thunderstorm? Step into it again, I guess. Huh. That is one hell of a maze.
Turn back.
Wow.
Turn back from this cave.
4R.
You said
This project would not have been possible without the following individuals. Oh. That was, weirder than I remember it being.
But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired. But I know that you're strong.
This is a very nice song.
So
I wonder if it'll get muted.
Turn back.
Yeah, that was, there you go. That was a lot stranger than I remember it being.